Hey, this is Victor Antonio with another Monday morning sales workout for sales managers. Today, we're going to talk about the universal sales formula. Go ahead and download the worksheet. This one actually has two. Now, let me read this situation. After years of having studied many different sales formulas, I settled on the universal sales formula. I came up with this, which can be used for any situation. Let me give you the broad strokes of what I mean by this universal sales formula. And the reason I want to share this with you is that your sales team sometimes has a sales process that maybe is just a bit complex, 50 steps to close a sale, or 20 steps. Well, this only has 3 steps. And again, if salespeople understand the 3 steps to selling in this universal sales formula, I think they'll be more effective. The first one is empathy. Empathize with your customer. Take time to understand where your customer's coming from. Let's read some of the notes I put down. Under empathy, step 1, maybe you want to ask things like, you want to understand the anxiety of buying or switching over from your product or service. If a customer has to switch over, what anxiety is being caused? In other words, what's it costing them mentally? Being able to understand that, you're more empathetic. The fear of failure. In other words, maybe it won't work, right? Now, it could also be the insecurity of having to go out on a limb. In other words, maybe it's not your product, but maybe they're afraid to make a decision because their career could depend on it. That could be something else. So you get the idea. Being able to get inside your customer's head and understand the internal turmoil they're going through. Buying your product is probably the easiest part. Having to deal with everything in terms of implementing, executing, and getting people to use it might be what they're really going through, that empathy piece. So you need to really get in there and feel their pain. Step number 2, if I can understand my customer, I'm in their head, I get it. I understand it from a gut level, I understand. Phase number 2 is that now you can go into the educational phase, right? This is where you're going to start talking to the customer about, now that I understand your business, what you're trying to do, let me show you how this will work. Now you educate them not only on your product or service, but you educate them how you can roll this program out. If it's a software solution, how we're going to implement it. If you're buying a new hardware product, here's what we're going to do to upgrade it, whatever it may be, make it compatible. Here's what we're going to do. Here's a simple step plan. You start educating on product and process, okay? That's the education phase. And the last part is really empower them to make a decision. If I understand the customer and I've taken the time to educate them, in other words, give them the information they need to make a buying decision. And I educate them, but I also show them how they're going to be able to implement this with little or no effort. Then, when I get to the closing part, which is the empower piece, I then empower them to make a couple of decisions, right? I offer them a couple of options, maybe 2 or 3 pricing options. We've talked about that. So here's what I want you to do. With your team, I want you to discuss this 3-step sales formula. And, again, get some feedback from your team on how they see it. How do they empathize? How do they really know they're getting to the root cause of what's holding a customer back from making a buying decision? Also, on the education piece, what are they saying? What aha moments are they providing during the conversation? And how are they making the customer feel comfortable that this switchover or this new product they're about to buy will work for them? Then, how do you move into pricing? How do you empower them to make a buying decision? Because if I understand you and I've educated you, then it's really just about presenting the actual options, and I'll let you make the buying decision. So talk to your salespeople about those 3 phases, what they're currently doing, and how it would fit into this formula. Have a general discussion and see where that takes you. This is Victor Antonio, again, with another Monday morning sales workout, always reminding you, selling ain't hard when you know how. Take care.